Welcome back, everyone, to the Motivation Library, where we do these deep dives into some really cool books. And today we're going to be looking at the 12-week year.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah, it sounds really cool.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this one. So have you ever felt like those annual goals that we set are actually kind of holding us back?
That's an interesting question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a common trap that we all kind of fall into.
Right.
And this book actually challenges that traditional way of thinking.
Okay.
It's by Brian P. Moran and Michael Lennington.
Okay.
And they argue that thinking in terms of annual goals actually kind of undermines our ability to perform at our best.
So instead of spreading ourselves thin over 12 months, what they're suggesting is that we break it down into 12-week sprints.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's all about creating that sense of urgency like you get in December
Right?
when you're rushing to get everything done.
Yeah.
But imagine having that feeling throughout the year.
Yeah. So it's like replicating that year-end pressure, but doing it, more consistently.
Exactly. And by breaking the year down into these smaller chunks,
Uh-huh.
you actually can tap into a higher level of focus and productivity.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
How often do we just coast through the year,
Right.
thinking, oh, I've got tons of time to get to that.
Exactly. And then suddenly it's November.
Exactly.
And you're like, oh my God.
Where did the year go?
Exactly. And that's exactly what they call annualized thinking.
Okay.
It leads to procrastination and a lack of urgency.
Right.
But it's not just about, breaking the year down. It's
Yeah.
about having a vision for those 12 weeks.
Okay.
A compelling vision.
Right. So you have a bigger picture in mind.
Exactly.
It's not just about sprinting for 12 weeks and then taking a break.
Yeah.
It's got to be tied into something.
Yeah, it has to be meaningful.
Right.
It's about aligning those sprints with a larger vision that gives your efforts purpose.
Okay.
And the book actually talks about the power of neuroplasticity.
Oh, wow.
Have you heard about that?
I have.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
It is. So our brains can actually change and adapt
Right.
based on our actions and thoughts.
Right.
So when we constantly visualize our desired future,
Yeah.
we're actually strengthening those neural pathways
Okay.
that support those goals.
So it's not just wishful thinking.
No, not at all.
Okay.
There's a neurological basis for this idea of visualizing your success.
So the more emotionally connected you are to that vision, the more powerful its pull becomes.
Exactly. And there's actually a funny quote in the book by Lily Tomlin.
Okay.
She says,
I love her.
all my life I wanted to be somebody. Now I see I should have been more specific.
I love that quote.
Isn't that great?
I know. It really speaks to the importance of being very specific about what we want. We
Sure.
can't just have these vague ideas. We have to really paint a picture.
Exactly.
So how do we go from this big picture vision to actionable steps?
That's where the 12-week year framework really comes in.
Okay.
Provides a structure to translate that vision into plans and actions.
Okay. So, it's not about spreadsheets or anything. It's
Right.
about identifying what they call keystone actions.
Keystone actions.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these are the high impact activities that move the needle
Go.
toward your goals.
So the things that if you consistently do them, you'll actually see progress.
Exactly.
Nice.
Think of them as the foundation of your plan.
So it's about prioritizing these actions.
Right.
And getting rid of all the busy work.
Exactly. The things that don't really matter.
Yeah.
Got to focus on what's important.
So the book doesn't just stop there,
Yeah.
right? It also talks about accountability and measurement.
Right. They use this interesting analogy of scorekeeping
Okay.
to drive home this point.
So just like in sports, we need to track our progress and be honest with ourselves
Yeah.
about, where we're doing well and where we're not doing so well.
Yeah. No sugarcoating allowed.
It can be hard.
It can.
Right.
But that's really what the 12-week year system is all about.
So it's about confronting the truth.
Yeah.
About our performance.
Exactly. Even when it's uncomfortable.
Right. But that's where peer support comes in, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because that can be really hard to do on your own.
It can be very daunting.
To constantly be under the microscope,
Right.
even if it's self-imposed.
So they recommend creating a support system,
Okay.
and they call these weekly accountability meetings, or WAMs.
WHAMs. Okay, so it's like having a team of people
Yeah.
who are all going for the same goal, and you meet regularly, and you share your progress, you support each other, and you hold each other accountable.
Exactly. And there's some research to back this up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's an article from Fast Company. It's called Change or Die.
Wow, that's a powerful title.
It is. And they found that people who engage in this kind of peer support during times of change are 7 times more likely to succeed.
7 times.
Yes.
That's incredible.
It's huge.
It makes you realize that we're not meant to do these things alone.
Right.
We need that community.
Exactly. You need that sense of belonging. And that brings us to another element of the 12-week year system,
Okay.
time blocking.
Oh, time blocking. Okay. Tell me more about how the book suggests we structure our time.
They have a system called performance time.
Performance time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's based on dividing your time into 3 different blocks.
Okay.
Strategic blocks, buffer blocks, and breakout blocks.
I'm taking notes. Strategic blocks, buffer blocks, breakout blocks. Oh, tell me about these.
Okay, so strategic blocks are for that deep, focused work.
Okay.
You know, those high-value activities that contribute to your 12-week goals.
So you're basically setting aside dedicated time for your most important work.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and protecting it from distractions.
Okay, that makes
So
sense.
buffer blocks,
Okay.
these are your secret weapon against that daily chaos.
All right, tell me more.
So think of them as pauses throughout the day,
Uh-huh.
dedicated to those inevitable tasks that just pop up.
Okay.
Emails, phone calls, and expected requests.
So it's like having a designated time to deal with all the stuff that derails our plans. Brilliant.
And then we have breakout blocks.
Breakout blocks.
Yeah, these are all about rejuvenation,
Okay.
preventing burnout. So
Right.
these are dedicated to activities that help you recharge.
So the self-care blocks.
Exactly. Exercise, hobbies, spending time with loved ones.
Yeah, because we can't, run on fumes all the time.
Exactly. You need to replenish your energy.
Speaking of rejuvenation, the book has this captivating story about an entrepreneur named Annette Batista
Oh, yeah.
who used time blocking to achieve success while she was battling cancer.
Her story is so inspiring.
Okay, so this sounds like a story we need to unpack.
It is.
But first we need to take a quick break.
Okay.
We'll be right back with more insights from the 12-week year, including that inspiring story about Annette Batista and how she used time blocking to overcome incredible challenges.
Sounds good.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, so Annette's story is really powerful.
Okay, so how did she manage to achieve so much while going through something so difficult?
Well, she actually credits a lot of her success to strategic time blocking.
Okay.
So she would meticulously plan out her week, making sure to schedule her most important work tasks during those times when she had the most energy.
Okay.
Even if it meant working unconventional hours,
Right.
she knew that her time was precious and she couldn't afford to waste it.
That's remarkable. It really highlights how a clear vision and a well-structured plan
Right.
can really empower us to do amazing things,
Absolutely.
even when facing huge challenges.
Exactly.
But it must take a lot of discipline
It does.
to stick to a plan like that.
Yeah, and the book really emphasizes the importance of learning to say no
Right.
to anything that doesn't align with your goals.
Yeah, it's about prioritizing
Just
your
your-
own goals and commitments.
Right.
Even if it means, maybe disappointing some people.
Yeah, it's tough, but it's necessary if
Yeah.
you want to make a real impact.
And it's not just about saying no to external distractions. It's also about those internal ones.
Exactly, those nagging doubts, fears that can creep in and sabotage our efforts.
Yeah, those are the worst.
They really are, and the book delves into this a bit. The emotional and psychological aspects of change
Okay.
and the challenges that people face when trying to implement new habits.
Right.
They introduce the concept of the emotional cycle of change.
Okay. The emotional cycle of change.
Yeah.
Remind me, what are the stages of that?
Okay, so it starts with uninformed optimism,
Okay.
where we're super excited about the possibilities,
Right.
but we haven't really grasped the challenges yet.
Oh, yeah. Been there.
Right.
It's like, this is going to be easy.
Exactly, and then reality hits.
And then you move into informed pessimism.
Informed pessimism.
Yeah, where you start to question your ability.
Right, you're like, can I actually do this?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is where it's crucial to remember that these feelings are totally normal.
Okay.
And you need to have strategies to navigate them.
So what does the book recommend for when we hit that point? We'll first reconnect with your why.
Your why.
Yeah, why are you doing this?
Okay.
What are those deep motivations that are driving you forward?
Right. You got to remember the bigger picture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that can rekindle that inspiration.
Okay.
The book also emphasizes focusing on what you can control.
Okay.
So shift your attention away from external circumstances.
Right. Don't worry about what other people are doing.
Exactly. Focus on your actions,
Oh.
your effort.
So taking ownership of your journey,
Exactly.
even when things are tough.
And they offer some tips for this.
Okay.
Like breaking down large goals into smaller steps.
Okay. So that you don't feel overwhelmed.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can see that progress.
It's like the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step.
Exactly.
And it's not just about achieving those milestones.
Right.
It's also about celebrating those wins.
Yes. Celebrate those wins, no
Right.
matter how small.
Give yourself a pat on the back.
Exactly. Recognize your progress. So let's go back to those overarching principles of the 12-week year system.
Okay.
Accountability, commitment, and greatness in the moment.
Okay.
We've touched on accountability,
Yeah.
but let's explore them a little deeper.
Okay, so accountability is about taking ownership
Yes.
of our actions and results.
Right. Being honest with ourselves.
Even when we mess up.
Even when we fall short.
Okay.
And it's about asking yourself, what else can I do
Okay.
to achieve my goals?
So no excuses.
No excuses.
Okay, got it.
And then commitment.
Okay.
Commitment is a promise you make to yourself
Okay.
to follow through,
Even when it's hard.
even when it's hard.
Discipline equals freedom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then greatness in the moment.
Okay.
This principle emphasizes being present,
Okay.
focused in each moment.
Right. So not dwelling on the past
Exactly.
or worrying about the future.
Give your full attention to the task at hand.
Be in the flow.
Yes, be in the flow.
Yeah.
And this is what leads to exceptional results.
So success is something we create
Right?
through our choices and actions.
Every moment is an opportunity to move closer to our goals.
Or further away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the book also includes some specific tips for staying motivated
Okay.
and on track throughout the 12 weeks.
Before we jump into those,
Yeah.
I want to go back to that study from Fast Company.
Oh, the Change or Die article?
Yeah, that statistic about people being 7 times more likely to succeed when they have support
Right.
really stuck with me.
Yeah, it's powerful.
So can you tell me more about that study?
Sure. So the article focused on patients with severe medical conditions
Okay.
who were told they needed to make some big lifestyle changes to survive.
Wow, high stakes.
Yeah. And the study found that after 12 months, 90% of the patients who tried to make these changes on their own
Uh-huh.
had gone back to their old habits.
So even when facing a life or death situation,
Right.
most people couldn't stick with it.
It's tough.
Wow.
But there was one group that had a much higher success rate, almost 80%.
80%. Okay, what was different about that?
They were part of peer support groups
Yeah.
that met regularly to discuss their challenges and their progress.
So they had that built-in accountability.
Exactly, and encouragement.
Yeah, it really highlights the power of community.
It does.
You know, we're not meant to do these things
You
alone.
need that support.
We need each other.
Absolutely.
It makes me think of that proverb.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to go fast, go alone.
Yeah.
If you want to go far, go together.
I love that.
Yeah.
And that's what the 12-week year is all about.
It's not a quick fix.
Yeah,
It's about creating a sustainable system for success.
exactly. And that often means seeking support.
So to recap,
Yeah.
the 12-week year encourages us to ditch the annual goals.
Right.
Embrace a more focused, action-oriented system.
Mm-hmm.
It's about having a compelling vision,
Yeah.
planning strategically,
Time blocking.
time blocking,
And most
and most importantly, it reminds us that we don't have to do this alone.
exactly. And on top of all that,
The book offers tons of strategies for implementing the system.
before we get into those,
Okay.
I want to hear more about those tips for staying motivated.
Oh, yeah, the execution
That you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
You know, those things that can help us push through when things get tough.
Absolutely. So they dedicate a whole chapter to this.
Okay.
And one of the key recommendations is to schedule a specific time each week
Okay.
to review your progress and plan for the week ahead.
Mm.
It's about creating this consistent rhythm,
Uh-huh.
to help you stay on track.
So it's like a weekly check-in.
Exactly.
Okay.
A time to reflect.
Right. What's working, what's not.
Yeah. And what do I need to do to stay focused?
So it's about being proactive
Exactly.
instead of reactive.
Right.
Okay, I like that. But what about those times when things just don't go according to plan?
Well, the book says setbacks are inevitable.
Yeah.
And it's how we respond to them
Right.
that really matters.
So it's not about avoiding setbacks.
Right.
It's about being resilient.
Exactly. Bouncing back.
And one of their strategies is to reframe setbacks as learning opportunities.
Okay.
So instead of seeing them as failures,
Mm-hmm.
see them as feedback
Okay.
that can help you improve.
Turn those negatives into positives.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And remember, setbacks don't define us.
Right.
They're just temporary obstacles.
Okay.
And it's important to have that growth mindset.
Right. Believing that we can learn from these experiences.
Exactly.
So it's about the journey,
Yes.
not just the destination.
And this is where that peer support
Right.
can really make a difference.
Having people to talk to
Yeah.
brainstorm with.
To encourage you
Yeah.
when you're feeling down.
We're all in this together.
We are.
We all face these challenges.
And by supporting each other,
Yeah.
we can achieve so much more.
And speaking of achieving more, The book ends with this analogy about fireweed fields.
Oh, yeah. It's a beautiful analogy.
Okay, so tell me about this.
So the author is hiking through this forest that had been devastated by a fire.
Yeah.
Everything was charred and lifeless.
Wow.
But then he comes across this field of fireweed.
Fireweed?
Yeah,
Interesting.
these vibrant purple flowers that bloom after a fire.
So what's the connection to the 12-week year?
Well, the fireweed represents regeneration,
Okay.
new beginnings.
Right.
It's a reminder that even after setbacks,
Yeah.
we can rebuild,
Yeah.
create something even better.
So it's a message of hope.
Exactly. And they ask this question, what is your fireweed field?
What is my fireweed field?
Yeah, what's that vision of a brighter future that
Right.
you're willing to fight for?
It's a powerful question.
It is.
It's about dreaming big.
Yeah, and committing to a future
Right.
that aligns with your values.
This has been a fascinating deep dive
Yeah,
into the 12-week year.
I agree.
So many practical strategies.
And inspiring insights.
For anyone who wants to achieve more,
Absolutely.
it reminds us that we all have that potential.
We do.
But it takes focus, commitment.
And a willingness to change.
And don't forget the support.
Yes, support is crucial.
Surround yourself with people who believe in you,
Exactly.
who will encourage you.
And hold you accountable.
Yeah, and remember, even small changes
Right.
consistently applied
For time.
can lead to big results.
Absolutely.
So start today
Take that first step.
and watch your fireweed field bloom.
Love that.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the 12-week year.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you found it insightful,
Inspiring.
and we encourage you to pick up the book
Yeah, check it out.
and explore these ideas further.
Until next time.
Keep striving, keep growing.
Keep creating the life you desire.
See you next time.